The story begins in the dark, claustrophobic storage compartments of a spacecraft, where Lieutenant Corriston is fighting for his life. He's in a desperate, silent struggle against an assassin lurking in the shadows. The killer eventually escapes, leaving Corriston shaken, but the real mystery is only just beginning. Corriston is an inspection officer, and he's traveling on this ship with a woman who is supposedly the daughter of Stephen Ramsey, a massive and powerful Martian tycoon. There's a sense of high-stakes tension in the air, and it breaks violently when Jim Clakey, Ramsey's boisterous and imposing bodyguard, is struck by a concealed barbed projectile. Clakey is mortally wounded, and as the chaos unfolds, Corriston tries to find the young woman he was supposed to be protecting. That's when the reality of the situation starts to warp. When Corriston seeks out the girl, he finds out that neither the girl nor the man who was just killed actually exist on the ship's official manifest. The people he thought were passengers are ghosts in the system. When Corriston tries to report this discrepancy, he isn't met with an investigation. Instead, he's met with dismissal. The ship's captain, Sanders, tells him he's simply suffering from space shock, a kind of psychological breakdown caused by the stresses of deep space travel. Before Corriston can argue his case, he is detained in a sanity cell on Space Station 1. This is where the story shifts from a simple murder mystery into something much more unsettling. While held on the station, Corriston realizes he isn't just a victim of a misunderstanding, he's being watched and actively targeted. He witnesses a freighter crash in Earth's atmosphere, a terrifying display of cosmic violence, and he narrowly survives a high-tech assassination attempt right inside his cell. While he's trying to evade the station's security forces, Corriston stumbles upon a horrifying secret that changes everything he thought he knew about the people around him. He discovers that the station's security force isn't actually composed of the people they claim to be. Instead, they are imposters wearing highly sophisticated, technologically advanced prosthetic masks. These masks are designed to mimic human emotion so perfectly that they can fool almost anyone. But they have a fatal flaw: they fail to function correctly if the wearer is unconscious. This revelation exposes the truth behind the station's entire operation. The command structure is a carefully constructed facade, a theatrical performance designed to hide a massive criminal conspiracy. This conspiracy involves the smuggling of Martian uranium, and it's being orchestrated by the very interests that Corriston thought were above suspicion, including the Ramsey family interests. Corriston manages to play a dangerous game of politics to stay alive. He eventually negotiates with the station's commander, using the threat of legal prosecution to secure his own passage to Mars and access to Helen Ramsey. It turns out that Helen wasn't just a passenger. She was running away from her father's suffocating and absolute control. But the window for escape is small. The situation turns violent when Richard Henley, a ruthless and methodical leader, executes a coup. He kills the station's command staff and seizes control, forcing Corriston to pilot a ship to Mars. Corriston is essentially a prisoner for the entire 14-day journey, flying through the void under the thumb of a man driven by pure greed. When they finally land in the Martian desert, Corriston's ordeal doesn't end, it just changes shape. He is captured by Henley's men, who plan to use him as a bargaining chip to ransom Helen. He manages to escape his captors, but he finds himself stranded in one of the most lethal environments imaginable. To find help, Corriston has to trek 87 miles across the Martian desert. During this trek, he isn't just fighting the elements, he's fighting for a cause. He eventually reaches a colony of oppressed workers, people who have been pushed to the brink by the industrial machine of the powerful. In a pivotal moment, Corriston delivers a powerful speech that transforms him from a lone fugitive into a charismatic leader. He doesn't just ask for help, he rallies them. He organizes a massive expedition of 210 men and 30 tractors to march on Ramsey's citadel. The journey is brutal. They face blinding sandstorms and the terrifying, deadly lamprey worms that inhabit the Martian soil. But they keep moving. Corriston eventually manages to infiltrate the citadel by impersonating a mercenary, a high-stakes gamble that brings him face to face with the heart of the conspiracy. Inside, he makes a discovery that is both a relief and a shock. The man he thought was the tycoon Stephen Ramsey is actually a dying double, a decoy used to mask the truth. The real Ramsey had been using this double to buy himself time to launch his own secret rescue mission. This realization resolves the mystery of the kidnapping and reveals the sheer depth of the deception being played on both sides. In the end, the real Ramsey and Helen return, and the power dynamics are completely upended. The aftermath of the conflict leads to a surprising moral transformation for Stephen Ramsey. Instead of doubling down on his control, he decides to undergo a period of accountability, choosing to return land to the colonists. Helen stays on Mars to support her father through the legal trials that follow his actions, finally finding the agency and independence she had been seeking. As for Corriston, he returns to the space station, no longer a man struggling with space shock, but a celebrated hero of the system. When we look back at the story, several themes stand out that make it more than just a mid-century space adventure. One of the most striking elements is the use of the prosthetic masks. These masks serve as a powerful symbol of the pervasive phoniness in a highly controlled technological society. In the world of Space Station 1, identity is something that can be applied like a layer of skin, masking the true intentions and even the true humanity of those in power. It suggests a fear that as technology advances, the ability to maintain a true self might be lost to the convenience of a manufactured persona. This ties directly into the way the authorities treat Corriston. The narrative explores the concept of gaslighting through the lens of science and medicine. By labeling Corriston's observations as space shock, the people in power use the guise of psychological stability to invalidate the lived experiences of anyone who uncovers the truth. It's a reminder of how easily sanity can be weaponized to silence dissent and maintain a status quo. There is also a constant tension between freedom and control that runs through the entire plot. You see it in the contrast between the rigid, artificial, and highly regulated environment of the space station and the Citadel, and the raw, dangerous, but undeniably real nature of the Martian desert. The station is a place of masks and manufactured emotions, while the desert is a place of harsh truths and survival. It's as if the characters have to leave the safety of civilization to find something authentic, even if that authenticity is deadly. Finally, the story grounds these high-concept sci-fi ideas in very recognizable human struggles, economic corruption and the fight for land rights. The conflict isn't just about space travel or advanced gadgets, it's about the control of uranium and the exploitation of workers. By centering the plot on these material concerns, the story makes the cosmic scale of the setting feel personal and urgent. It's a story that moves from the claustrophobia of a single ship to the vastness of a planet, tracing a path from a single lie to a massive systemic truth. It's a journey from being a victim of a conspiracy to becoming the man who helps dismantle it.